We are live.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are meeting tonight under extraordinary circumstances. Our community, along with communities around the country and the world, have been observing social distancing and other health safety measures to slow the progress of the COVID-19 pandemic for many weeks now. To allow normal or near normal operations of city government functions to continue, the governor of New York has declared a disaster emergency and has issued multiple executive orders, and the city of Rochester mayor has issued several local emergency orders, which together authorize the holding of this meeting virtually, subject to waivers of certain requirements of the New York State Open Meetings Law and the Rochester Zoning Code. In addition, at a prior meeting, we amended the Planning Commission rules and procedures to allow us to conduct this hearing as authorized by the governor's and mayor's emergency orders, and to waive other requirements to allow us to proceed with this hearing, as I will now describe. Primarily, these waivers involve the requirement for in-person attendance at this hearing. The emergency orders permit us to hold this hearing by teleconference with no in-person attendance, allowing applicant presentations and public testimony by teleconference. Written public comments, both in favor of and opposed to the application, may be submitted by email, by hard copy document, mailed to the zoning office, or deposited in the secure box located in the permit office at the City Hall. The deadline for written comments was Friday, February 5th, 2021. And the deadline to register to provide spoken comments was 12 noon p.m. today, Monday, February 8th, 2021. Although the content of this hearing has been altered from some of the normal procedures, many remain the same. All normal notifications of this hearing, including mail notice, publication, and the posting of notice, were followed. A staff report has been prepared for each application, and that report, along with the application and other pertinent documents, have been presented to the commission members and posted online several days prior to tonight's meeting. All the normal timeframes for applicant presentations, comments in favor of or opposed to the application remain the same. Most importantly, this commission will hear, review, and make decisions on all the applications with the same diligence, using the same standards as required by the zoning code. Before we begin, I would like to explain the ground rules for the hearing. When a case is called, the applicant will be allowed 15 minutes to present their case to the commission. The applications were posted on the city's website at least a week ago and were available for public review. All the applicants were advised to ensure that their applications were complete and include all the information that they intend to present at this hearing tonight. The application is presented. As the application is presented, staff will reasonably possibly identify the pages being shown on the application by the applicant addressing the presentation. Following our normal procedure, commission members may ask questions of the application. After the applicant's presentation is complete, staff will read into record any public comments that were submitted after the staff report was completed and posted on the city's website. First, those in support of the application, then those in opposition. These comments will be limited to 10 minutes if submitted by a neighborhood association and 3 minutes for all other comments. If reading the submitted comments will exceed the time limits, staff will summarize the comments to fit the time frames. If multiple submissions repeat same comments, staff will summarize those comments. Public comments that were received in time will be included in the staff report and will not be read into the hearing. The public also has an opportunity to register in advance to speak at this virtual hearing. After the comments have been read, the applicant will have 5 minutes to offer any testimony in rebuttal. At the conclusion of the applicant's rebuttal testimony, the case will be closed. However, if the commission determines that substantial new evidence has been presented by the applicant during the hearing, either during the original or rebuttal testimony, the case may be adjourned and held over to the commission's next announced hearing date in order to give public an opportunity to review and comment on the new evidence. After completing all the hearings on the agenda tonight, the commission may elect to take a short break, which will be announced. After the hearing and break, if any, the commission will commence deliberation and voting on all the applications, except any application that has been adjourned to another meeting date. Please also note that if your case is approved today, a written decision will be mailed to you within 15 business days. The decision will inform you of the next steps to complete the approval process. Before we open with the first case, please note that we are all volunteers. We would like each of the commissioners to confirm their presence for the purpose of a roll call and establishing a quorum for this meeting, and introduce themselves and mention the quadrant from which they live.
Jerry Carroll, East District.
Brad Flower, South District.
Marquita Williams. Southwest. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
No, you go
I cut
ahead.
somebody off. Marquita Williams, Southwest.
Eugenio Marlin, Northwest.
Milton Pichardo, Northeast.
Kim Harding, East.
And Dave Watson, Southwest. May we have the first case, please?
Certainly. Case number 1, it's a special permit. The file number is E11-2021. The address is 105 Hillside Avenue. The zoning district is an open space district. The applicant is City of Rochester Department of Recreation and Human Services. The request is to establish a public recreation center after school in the park for a temporary use at the existing fully enclosed building, Tay House, an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. And I would like to determine whether or not the present commissioners visited the site. So if you did visit the site, just give me a thumbs up or raise your hand. If you did not, unmute yourself and let me know that you did not. And Commissioner Williams, you said you visited the site? Oh, she raised her hand. Perfect. Okay, let me share my screen and we can bring in the applicant.
Okay. And it's just one person presenting?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, I'll swear them in once we get started.
And please let me know if you ever need this larger, more zoomed in or zoomed out. Do we have Sarah with us, Matt?
Yes, we do. Give me 1 second. Okay, she should be good now.
It's Sarah. This is Dave Watson. Chair, I'd like to swear you in. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And you may proceed, ma'am.
So there's been a delay in this process, so I'm actually asking to hold this item.
Okay, you want us to hold it because of delay?
So we're undergoing construction at Lake Riley Lodge, and that construction has been pushed off by our environmental services team. So we actually don't move to a new space temporarily until that construction begins.
Okay.
So that probably won't happen until fall of this year.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do, unless I hear any comments in the opposition, anyone opposed to holding this over until the next meeting? Like seeing none or hearing none, ma'am, we will carry this over until staff gets notified of when you're ready to present again.
Great.
Thank you, Ms. Scott.
Thank you. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. You're welcome.
Before we get into case 2, I just need to pause. There's a couple folks in the attendee list. I need to find out what cases they're here for.
I also have
the
one
first-
comment. Wait, Matt, do I also read this comment or do I wait until it's heard?
Yeah, I forgot-
Comment for case 1?
Yeah, I forgot to ask that. Thank you, Anna.
Do I
Yeah,
wait?
You can wait till it's heard again.
Okay.
yeah, because it'll be included in the actual packet at that
Yeah.
point.
Sure.
Okay, so there's a caller here tonight. Last 4 digits of a phone number are 7365. Could you just unmute yourself and let us know what case you're here for?
And Sarah's good to go then? Okay. Thanks.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. It looks like,
All right, let me try this. Person on here with a name titled Ed and Carol's.
oh, they're the public testimony for case number 2.
Oh, okay. There's already 2 people on there, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And then what about the last one there? PDEM.
I do not know.
Okay, let's take a look at that. Hi, PDEMJANE. Could you let us know what you're here for tonight?
You can speak. We can hear you.
Yep. Try one more time. If you're on the Zoom call, your name is listed as PDEMJNE. Could you let us know what case you're here for this evening?
I have a strong suspicion that these people are here for case 4. They have a big team, and I
Okay.
see everyone else is accounted for.
Okay, so what we'll do is I'll move that back. I'm going to try one more. You think the phone number as well?
That would be my assumption, but we'll have to check with the team
Okay.
when we call case 4, most likely.
Okay. All right. So I will.
Matt, would it make sense for them to ask, for you to ask them to chat you like in the meantime, or?
Yeah, I can do that. They have to stay as panelists though.
They can still chat from that. They can chat from an attendee perspective.
They can. Okay. All right. I'm moving back. All right.
Just an idea. You guys know better what works, so.
Okay. Adam and Bradford are here for case number 2, and they are in as panelists.
Perfect. Thank you for doing that. I'll quickly announce the case. So case number 2 is a special permit. The file is E13-2021. The address is 235 Alexander Street. The zoning is R3 High Density Residential District and OB Overlay Boutique. The applicant is Bradford Strine. The request is to establish a restaurant in the carriage house located in the rear of the property, to establish outdoor seating for the proposed restaurant, and to legalize the off-street parking lot at the property. These are actions requiring City Planning Commission approval. So I'd like to establish whether or not the present commissioners have visited the site. Can you give me a thumbs up or a raised hand? Perfect. Thanks, everybody. And by virtue of the fact that I saw all those hands and thumbs and no one spoke up, all present commissioners visited the site. So I will share my screen and let Dave, Adam, and Brad do their thing.
Okay, Brad, are you here to speak as the applicant?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I affirm.
Thank you, sir. And you may proceed.
I believe Adam was going to start with some of the rhetoric from what the design aspects entail for the parking and for the addition.
Okay, what I'll do is that I'll swear him in also. Because
Okay.
This is for the record, and it was Adam.
Yes.
Yeah, let me swear you in. Do you
Okay.
solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, sir, you may
Could we
proceed.
have Adam's full name?
It's Adam Caulfield.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. I'm the designer on the project. I wanted to briefly discuss the proposed site and building upgrades. I don't know if Anna can put the proposed site plan up.
Sure.
Okay. So the existing site has 14 parking spaces, none of which comply with the current code, and it's missing an ADA parking spot. So we are proposing to restripe the entire parking lot and have one designated ADA parking spot with an adjacent striped area for accessibility. So the proposed number of new parking spots will end up being 13, which includes the one ADA spot. The required number of parking for the proposed restaurant is 15 spaces, so it's missing 2. This parking area is also shared with the adjacent office building, which is owned by the landlord, and he uses it for his office. He has no employees. He occasionally has clients over, and so the hours of operation of the restaurant and the office shouldn't overlap. To make up for the lack of parking, we are proposing a bike rack, which holds up to 8 bikes, to be put on the site and made available for the patrons of the restaurant. Also, a 4-foot wide ADA compliant pedestrian walkway, which will run from the sidewalk toward the back of the building. And this will allow for pedestrians to easily walk to the restaurant without walking into the driveway. From what we can tell, there is very limited on-street parking, or possibly none, but there is the Alexander Park parking garage, which is located across the street and is available to accommodate visitor and parking for neighborhood businesses. And I quickly looked on Google. It is within the 1,000-foot distance to the restaurant. There's also 4 bus routes near the property: Park Ave, Monroe, University, and East Ave. And in this area of the city, many people just simply walk to get to their destinations. Continuing with parking upgrades, in the front of the carriage house, we're proposing protective bollards with a chain barrier between the building and the row of parking spots in that area to add to the level of safety when the outdoor seating is in use. In addition, a small dumpster enclosed by a 6-foot tall wood slat fence will be situated on the property. Now I briefly want to talk about the building improvements. So if we can show the floor plans. Okay. So these plans are going to be looked at further during building permit submission, and currently they are in a preliminary phase. So I just wanted to mention that the size and amount of seating may not actually reflect what will actually be there when the building's built. It'll most likely be less than what's shown. So starting with electric and plumbing, some of this work has already been previously done. A sub panel has been added in the carriage house from the main building. Also, a water line and sanitary line has been run from the building to the carriage house.
Adam, you
Yep.
don't need to do like the building codes type stuff.
So I could just leave it there.
Yeah, I mean, what the planning commission's looking at is the impacts of the use, the parking waivers, and outdoor dining.
Okay, well, I guess I could talk a little bit about the outdoor dining then, and the addition. So let me skip to that. So as part of the first floor building improvements, a small addition is going to be added to the back of the building. It extends out about 9 feet. It's approximately 280 square feet, and it's to accommodate a small kitchen and an 8x8 walk-in cooler. So then skipping to second floor improvements, it would just be related to the second floor porch seating, which would be above the addition. And now I can turn it over to Brad.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I would like to point out that I know that there's been some issues with local, like adjacent businesses, as well as people in the community that are concerned that, you know, with the preliminary drawings, it shows it holding up to 70 people. And I would like to explain that isn't the intent and purpose of the restaurant that we're trying to put in. It's supposed to be a boutique restaurant, which would service approximately 25, maybe 30 people with all the outdoor seating. And the outdoor seating would only be used, obviously, maybe 4 months out of the year. As far as what we anticipate, we're only going to be open from Thursday to Sunday, and to start out. And we're trying to build a boutique restaurant that is has a small carbon footprint. And with this, we are looking to do composting of our food waste, which would hopefully reduce the amount of waste that would be in the dumpster area and that sort of thing. And there's a company in Rochester called Impact Earth, if anybody wanted to look into it. It's a very reasonable cost to have them cart out any of the food waste and that sort of thing to reduce any type of rodent situation that might incur from the restaurant waste. Also, we don't intend to have any type of fryer, so we won't have any cooking oil or anything like that. It's going to be, the building only has electric, it doesn't have gas, so everything that we're cooking with would be electric. And in the future, if it goes well, we're looking to improve with solar electricity by putting solar panels on the top of the building to further reduce our carbon footprint of the building. And our intent is to use locally sourced produce and that sort of thing. So we're really trying to enhance the community. I guess the feel and everything. And I've been looking at this building for a long time, and it has been vacant for many years, and it's kind of become an eyesore. And I know I talked to the owner, and there've been, just a lot of, vagrants or people of that sort that might wander through the area. And with an establishment there, we would hope that it would improve the neighborhood rather than impede it. And we're looking to be kind of in tune with the neighborhood. And I also have owned other businesses in the city, and I've worked with neighborhoods to try and, come to an understanding if there are issues. And also with the adjacent businesses, as us being a business as well, we would try and keep the area tidy and clean and all that sort of thing in order to, bring value to the Alexander Street area as opposed to, running it down. And we are obviously looking to be a boutique restaurant. So we're looking to service customers that are, business professionals that are in the area. We would like to see people walk there or bike there as opposed to drive there because, it's something that I think is needed in the city. And I think people enjoy that. So that being said, I feel like with what we're doing here, I think it's a positive move for this location.
Anything else, sir?
I think that would be all.
All right, we'll see if we have any questions for you.
Okay.
Any questions for the applicant?
I actually have one. This is Carrie Carroll.
Yes, Carrie.
The layout as you've described and as when we look at all the tables shows like 76 odd people. What's the actual building occupancy allowed based on your current design?
So I haven't done a full code study yet, but with tables and chairs, it's 15 square foot per person. So if I do the math, it's 800 square feet divided by 15. Maybe a little bit less, but that would be the maximum. And depending on the bill, I've done other restaurants where the occupancy is based on the amount of seating and not by the 15 square foot per person. And that has to be worked out between the restaurant and the building department. Let me just check real quick. If I do, I think it's like 650 times 2 divided by 15. Yeah, so I mean, you could have about 85 people in there if you go by the code of 15 square foot per person. But like I said, it could be limited by the amount of seating.
And that's going to bring on additional requirements like bathrooms, like that would require adding new bathrooms and things of that nature.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also the bar is different calculations when you have to do the bar, when the tables and things like that. I guess not to go too much into the code. I'm sorry, Carol, did he answer your question? And
Yes, no, please continue.
right, and not to go, obviously you may need a second mean of egress, but I'm sure you probably get there at some point. But how about lighting? I don't see any lighting reflected, at least on your preliminary plan, especially since it's like a narrow entrance.
That
You're
may be
talking
a
about
question
like
for Brad.
outdoor lighting.
Are you asking about the site or the building, Milton?
The building itself, so essentially to light the parking area.
Okay, well, currently there's only one light.
Right.
It's attached to the main building that shines into the parking lot. I mean, we could add some wall pack lighting on. We haven't really thought about that, but that would
The south side of the parking area, there is another building there that does have lights on it. So it's not a wall there, it's open. So if you look at the where all the parking is on that side.
I noticed there's one light on the other. Will you rely on someone else's lighting to ensure your place is lit up? Especially
if I would say if it doesn't seem that there's enough light, I would always add lighting to it. I mean, lighting isn't an overly problematic thing. It shouldn't be an issue for if there is shadow areas or anything like that. I would have no problem adding, a couple outdoor light fixtures in order to make sure that it's safe for customers.
yeah, safety is important. So yeah, I agree with that statement. Maybe adding some lighting outside would be good.
Yep, that wouldn't be an issue.
And that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Before I let him go, Anna, I have a question. Hours of operation for this district, are they by right?
So, yeah, that's a great question. I know for outdoor seating is limited to
Presley?
6 a.m. to 11 p.m. The restaurant would be limited to yes, it would be limited to the district. I can look that up real quick.
Yeah, I was just curious what that limitation was, because the applicant said that primarily they're looking at Thursday through Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So that might have an impact on, our,
It wouldn't have an impact on the days per se, but I'll look up what the
Yeah.
requirements.
So we, if they get a liquor license, they're inside the restaurant. We're not allowed to limit them to anything less than what their liquor license would allow, which is 2 o'clock stop serving and 2:30 till people can leave. But the alcohol beverage control has abided by city's restrictions on hours for outdoor dining. So yeah, if they're committing to certain hours, we can make that a condition of their permit, and Anna's looking up whether there are additional restrictions in there.
Yeah, so the hours for the overlay district are between 6 a.m. and 11 p.m., just like the outdoor seating. But to Tom's point, if they have a liquor license, then New York State would trump us on what those hours would be.
okay, super.
Yeah, except for outdoor, at least for as long as they just decide to keep doing it, they do abide by the city's restrictions on outdoor.
Okay, super, thank you.
Quick question here. Yeah, thanks,
Yes,
Dave.
go ahead, Brad.
Somebody had mentioned office hours should not be overlapping with the office that also shares the lot. Is the applicant open from changing that language from should not be to will not be, if we determine that as a commission?
Yes, you can do
Great.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What are you getting at there? That for the parking purposes, or?
Yes. Yep.
I mean, they can't say that they're going to use any of the adjoining office space, at least for the board giving them a waiver, unless they have a contract to do so.
Right. I guess I was sorry. I might have been hearing it incorrectly then, that some of the spaces are shared with that office space. That is not the case.
No, that is, they said that's the case, but you know how you'll have to go through and account for the 2 spaces extra they need.
Yep.
Right?
They actually do
You
not.
can't-
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
They do not need a waiver on the number of parking spaces or the parking requirement because of their location in the OB, but they provided additional information as to acknowledging the parking demand and what they're mitigating or what they're pursuing. So they gave us information on how they're accommodating their parking, but that actually is not one of the waivers they need.
All right, thanks.
That answers that. Thanks.
All right, any other questions for the applicant? All right, if you're hearing none, Anna, or were there any comments that came in since the staff report?
Yes, there
All
were
right.
3, and 2 of those commenters have showed up in person.
Okay.
So we will pass the floor over to them. Let's start with, let me see who's first. Stalling. Let's start with Mr. Lembach. So John, if you're here, you can unmute yourself.
Oh, I just moved Ed over. Hold on. Okay, John should be good.
And John, are you here as a neighborhood representative or as a neighbor?
Terrible.
I love Zoom so much. Okay. Let's see if we can request to unmute John. I'm going to ask to unmute him.
Okay, that's helpful. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I listened carefully to the testimony. I have a couple problems to nitpick about. The parking garage at Monroe Avenue, to my knowledge, is not available to the public after 6 p.m. Seeing it regularly locked. It's been asked for by several merchants on Monroe Avenue. The possible future use of the building should be considered for simultaneous use of the parking lot. What the current owner is using it for right now is rather immaterial, since it remains available to be used by other people for other purposes in the future, and that would have a conflict. For instance, the owner could use the front building as a restaurant also. So what would we do then? However, there are some other problems here. It's the location of the restaurant, particularly the larger outdoor seating areas, who has a probable conflict with neighbors. I've talked to a couple on Lafayette, and nobody's particularly happy about this situation. Let's see here. The site plan is shown is rather impractical for getting a large dumpster emptying a vehicle back there. An 8'3" driveway is particularly narrow, since most of those trucks are 7'10" to 8 foot as it is. So there'd be virtually no room for that truck to maneuver down the driveway if there were cars in place. However, the bigger questions are the fact that the code, section 106, says this is for existing buildings only. This building is going to be enlarged per their plans. So therefore, it does not qualify, because I would hold that the section 106 prohibits the addition to be considered as part of the application. Further, section 109 says you cannot exceed 1,200 square feet, both for the actual use of the building and the storerooms and preparation areas, et cetera. And this building is easily well past that. So this application is a non-starter as far as I can see, per the code at this point. If the applicant wishes to come back with a reduced facility, that's somewhat different out there, but that's another matter for another day. By the way, this letter you just flashed up there from somebody in the neighborhood saying the site was formerly a restaurant. Not to my knowledge in the last 50 years, and I'm a 50+ year resident of the neighborhood. He may be thinking of Miller's Restaurant, which is 2 buildings over, and that's been defunct for 25+ years. So that's not going to be re-allowed either at this point. So we need to get some of the facts a little more accurate here. It'd be nice to have a boutique restaurant, in the area, but there are a couple on Park Avenue, but none of them really exceed 660 square feet. And they function pretty well, a rather small crowd. Because of the size of the businesses, they're limited to probably 15 to 30 people max. So, this one can easily go well past that. And there isn't any official way to determine that. I wrote in my letter that this should have been reviewed by the Rochester Fire Department, the fire marshal, so they can make a determination that can be followed. Because after all, they will set the legal occupancy for the building later on. So I don't know why that particular aspect of this application was not pursued beforehand. So again, I feel the application is not valid on the face of the fact that it is countered to 2 sections of the code, 120-106 and 120-109. So I would recommend against this until this application can be revised to be more code compliant. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Ed Steinberg.
Can I ask some questions of the commenter?
Does that work for you, Tom?
Yes, you can.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Lundback. I just have a couple of questions as you speak with respect to the neighbors. Can you tell me how many neighbors you spoke with?
Actually, one.
One neighbor?
Right. I've had friends that talked to other neighbors. I've read the comments as well.
And do you have authority to speak on behalf of the one neighbor?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, are we ready for the next public comment?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Steinberg, the floor is yours. I'll help you by asking you to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Are you having audio problems? We have a lot of echo here. It's
Oh,
probably,
it might be because you're on 2 devices. So,
not that I know. Maybe I have 2 attempts opening the Zoom.
yep, you're on here with 2 different devices. So you might want to close.
I don't know if I
Is
would
your
risk
wife
doing
on?
that. If you can turn one off, turn one off.
All right, I will turn one off for you.
Yeah, thank you. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2.
Is that any better?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for having me. My wife is here also. We are longtime residents of Lafayette Park, number 14, and you have received letters from us on the subject of 235. And we have been owner occupants here for 40 years. We've raised our 2 kids here, gone to all city schools, and we have really worked on Lafayette Park for a great many years. Not that it should be about us entirely, but we like to make comments that we think make good sense for everybody on Lafayette. We agree with what John Lembach brought to the table. I thought those were very helpful and substantive concerns. I will try to paint a picture of what a restaurant at 235 would do to us. As we have been here a long time, we have experienced issues with restaurants and bars before Miller's came up, and it was a very difficult time for us. Restaurants pose major concerns in the way of noise and dumpsters, ventilation systems, and cars, patrons in the parking lot. There are a great many things that can go wrong and typically do, especially when alcohol sales is involved. And we think that this, the intended restaurant, though quaint as it would seem, would be just more of the same and very difficult to control. We would have concerns about the intended operation maybe transforming into some other operation. And I just realized you can't see me. Is that something I can do about that or not? Can you?
Sure. I'm going to ask to start your video, so you can choose to accept that.
Okay, sure. So there we are.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but there is a 3-minute time period for public comment, so you do have about 1 minute remaining.
Oh dear. Well, what can happen to a restaurant is that it can expand, it can have music, it can have the dumpsters. Dumpsters, I don't know where the dumpster is proposed for 235. I don't know how it would be retrieved from the rear of the property if that's where it's going to be.
Cut through.
We're concerned about traffic that would be brought onto Lafayette for the restaurant, even though we're a dead end. Some people often try to cut through. There is no cut through.
Walk through.
The outdoor seating, the dumpsters, the ventilation systems are all factors for us. We are about 100 paces from the intended restaurant building. And if you have your windows open in the summertime, you will know that that would be a concern for you as well. We are putting up with a very serious dumpster problem on Lafayette that is, which are from dumpsters that serve 2 apartment buildings on Alexander Street. And every morning, 7 days a week, these dumpster trucks come and pick up the 3 metal dumpsters that are probably about 20 feet away from number 15 Lafayette, which is
The time has expired. If you don't mind wrapping it up, I apologize.
Okay, I'd just like to paint a picture of the dumpsters there because they are strangely permitted and have been situated there, where they pick up 1 dumpster at a time anywhere between 5:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m., lift it up, shake it violently to empty it, and then put it back on the ground thunderously, you might say. 7 days a week, 3 dumpsters every morning, probably 20 feet away from number 15 Lafayette. We don't need to add to that commotion anymore.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Okay. Thank you.
So we will be reading one other additional comment that was received. So those were the first 2. So all of the public comments that were received at the time before the staff report out, they were included in the staff report. They were attached to it. They were posted online and sent to the Planning Commission members. Any additional ones were also sent to the Planning Commission and posted online, but we will read them for you here this record into the record now. We are writing as representatives of Gorell Associates, owners of 233 Alexander Street, the office building adjacent to 235 Alexander to the south. In addition, we own the parking lot immediately to the west of 235. In other words, the parking lot behind the proposed carriage house project. We have owned the entire footprint described above since 1965. To be clear, we want the best for the neighborhood of which we've been a part for the past 55 years. We've witnessed many changes over that time and recognize there is a need for improvements and progress. However, we do not believe the proposed project is the right fit for this location. It is very well, may be a great addition to the neighborhood, but our belief is the carriage house can accommodate the proposed restaurant. Our opinion is that the carriage house would be much better suited for a residence, an office, or a hamburger stand type restaurant, but not for something the size and scope of the current proposal. We want the success for our neighbor Billy, the landlord of 235, and we've had a good working relationship over time. We also wish the best to Bradford Strine, the operator proposing of the restaurant. Our primary concern, however, is to ensure that our own interests are being considered and protected. We are opposed to the project for many reasons. We will enumerate below to substantiate our position. 235 Alexander Street sits on a very small lot with only 13 spaces. We do not believe that this is nearly enough to satisfy the needs of the operation. The number of existing spaces is 13% less than the 15 the city requires for this type of use. We think it's naive to believe that there is enough parking on site and are surprised that the operator has not spoken to any of the neighbors about a potential agreement. It is our belief that an overflow parking will naturally end up in our parking lot. Years ago, we actually rented parking to Miller's, which resulted in a lot of garbage, broken glass, noise, and public urination on site. Also, the site plan suggests that 2 on-street parking spaces in front of the building will be utilized. Please note that the space in front of the building is currently a no parking zone. We would like to keep it that way. The no parking starts in front of 235 and goes all the way to Bixby Place. It was changed to no parking years ago due to the number of accidents on Alexander Street, resulting from the inability of drivers coming onto Alexander from driveways in Bixby Place to see oncoming traffic due to the cars parked along the side of the road. The proposed drawings show seating for 74 people. The property does not have adequate parking to support even a fraction of that number of patrons, not to mention the restaurant staff. Even when you factor in the urban setting and that some may walk or bike to the location, it still feels as if the parking will be lacking. It's also concerning from a fire code perspective, but we trust the city will review things from that viewpoint as well. We also want to maintain a clear and safe parking lot. Not only does the proposed plan suggest outdoor rooftop seating, but it is also asking for a 0-foot setback on all property lines with no screening. Our parking lot has parking spaces just over the railing of the proposed deck. There's potential for glasses, bottles to be knocked off the deck onto parked cars below. There is also potential for napkins and other garbage to be blown off the deck and onto our lot. We are concerned with having a restaurant dumpster next door to our office building. Our dumpster contains office-type garbage. The type of garbage generated by the proposed business has the potential to smell and attract rodents. We see it as a potential problem, particularly in the summertime. Our office tenants like to open windows in the summer and enjoy the fresh air. We would like them to be able to continue to do so. The rodents would likely be a problem as well. As of now, nothing in the vicinity is attracting them. Having a restaurant and dumpster next door would change that. Restaurants always keep their dumpsters as far back from the public as possible. This is for good reason. And a postage stamp lot where the dumpster is placed will have a negative effect on those in the immediate area. There is also concern with the ability to empty the dumpster in such a small lot. The parking lot is such that when cars are parked along the exit driveway, there's barely enough room for a car to get by, much less something the size of a garbage truck. Having so much outside seating is bound to generate noise. This noise would include people talking, the clinking of utensils on plates, music, the busting of tables, etc. Because everything surrounding the deck is open to the noise would travel. Many of our tenants have hair and nail businesses. Clients of theirs expect a relaxing atmosphere for those types of services. We see the proposed project as not allowing for a tranquil experience. In summary, we oppose the proposed project at 235. We hope our neighbor is soon able to find a more suitable use for the beautiful carriage house, but strongly believe that the current proposal is not fitting. And that is signed Earl and Dan Gorell. And that concludes the public testimony.
Okay, that being said, the applicant has an opportunity to 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes to rebut or provide any clarity.
Okay. I can speak to the dumpster issue. I did speak with Waste Management, and they have toters that they can put in as opposed to a dumpster. And then they park their truck out on Alexander Street and roll the toters out to the street. So there isn't a truck coming in and out, and they're not lifting dumpsters up and slamming them down. It's just like as if the city garbage trucks were going by and picking up trash. So that would, I think, alleviate that issue. As far as traffic concerns on Lafayette, I would think that most people that would be driving would have the ability to use a GPS system and wouldn't accidentally end up on Lafayette. And as I said earlier, we anticipate most of our clientele to be walking or coming by foot or bicycle in that mode of transportation in the city. As far as the adjacent parking lot for the Gorells, I would have staff each night walk the parking lot to make sure that there aren't any broken glass, which I don't assume that there would be glass out on the deck area anyhow, in such a way that it would fall to the parking lot. As it's just, it's dining and it's not an open area to stand and look out. So, but with that being said, I would have staff that would walk the parking lot to ensure that there wasn't any, napkins or any type of waste that may have blown off the property and onto any adjacent properties, as it has been something that I've had to address in the past in previous businesses. I think I managed most of the comments.
Can I add something as well?
Sure.
So I quickly looked up the square footage in the AutoCAD drawing, and the total square footage for seating first and second floor is 601 square feet. So if you divide that by 15, the total occupancy would be 40 patrons. And the outdoor seating and above the new addition is 230 square feet, which is a total of 15. So the maximum could be around 55 at the most. And then
Subject
also
to building code, though, subject to building code evaluation for number of bathrooms,
Exactly.
number of entering and exiting spots.
So the amount shown on the plan, 76, is over, just based on that. And then I quickly went to the Park Ave parking garage website, and it says they're open Monday through Sunday all day.
And there are on-street parking in front of the building at 235. When they repaved Alexander Street, they did take away the 2 parking spots that were talked about, but there is parking just before that on the north side, I think.
Could I just follow up on one of the questions that came up, and that is, what is your total restaurant square footage with the outdoor serving areas and the addition?
Let me look real quick.
Adam, do you want me to speak from the preliminary findings?
Yeah, I think we already figured that out.
I don't have your outdoor seating, but I'll include it in the staff report. As the first attachment to the staff report are the preliminary site plan findings. And you'll find on the very first page of that, and I'll pull it up on the screen when I'm done, but the existing carriage house is 1,480 square feet, and they're proposing a 247 square foot addition. That's that kitchen we saw a picture of. I do not know square footage. I'll let the applicant speak to that. And in the meantime,
The kitchen wouldn't affect he's asking for the area where the patrons will be seated, I believe.
Oh.
No, not
that
necessarily. No.
No.
The 1,200 square foot limit looks like it would apply.
Oh, wait, we're talking about the 1200? No,
Yeah.
that's only for permitted uses in the district. This is a specially permitted use.
Oh, yeah, okay, good point.
So because this exceeds that, that's why it's coming through to the Planning Commission. I have here on the screen that attachment I was referencing that's included in the packet and posted online that kind of gives the site plan breakdown in those 2 square footages I just rattled off.
Okay, anything else for the applicant? Brad, Adam, anything else?
I think I've spoke on all the topics.
Adam, we okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. That being said, we will close this case. And we will ask Anna to give us the next case, please. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 3 is a special permit. The file number is E14-2021. The address is 143-147 Webster Ave. The zoning is R1 Low Density Residential District. The applicant is Kimberly Roberson of Caring and Sharing Child Care Center. The request is to establish a 16-space ancillary parking lot to serve the daycare center, Caring and Sharing Child Care Center, located at 8690 Webster Ave, an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. So could you, by a show of hands, can you tell me if you had the opportunity to visit the site? Perfect, thank you so much.
And
Need to
Ms.
check with
Williams,
Markiva.
could you just let us know, like, audio wise?
She's been doing like a virtual
Yes.
hand raise. Oh,
I
audio.
have.
Yeah, but she could have been left out. Thank you.
Got you, sorry about
Uh-huh.
Thanks.
No problem.
Okay, Anna, do we have Ms. Roberson available? I will
Yes,
swear-
I'm here, but I don't know why my camera's not on.
Here, I can ask to turn it on if you want it on. You can just click yes or no.
Here we go.
All right, I will swear you in.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, you may proceed, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, City Planning Commission. I'm honored to be before you this evening. I have the great pleasure of meeting with you tonight on a request for a special permit. And the permit is to serve the child care center. We have 30 employees and we have 100 clients, parents that we service in the community. I've been here for 20 years. There's 2 schools right next to each other, Caring and Sharing Child Care Center and Caring and Sharing Junior Academy Center. So we purchased the playground, which has a parking lot in front of it last year. And we wanted to, revitalize the parking lot because it's been not in use for many, many years. And we want to turn it into a better parking lot and use better usage for the space there for the parents and for the staff to be able to park. Right now, it's not, the only thing offered is off-street parking. So since this is my first time, I don't really know what questions you would like me to answer or what would you like me to share about our purpose and need for the parking lot, so I can ask questions or answer questions as we go along.
Well,
You guys are
basically-
the experts, I'm not.
Nope.
Ask me about children, that's my job.
Well, basically, you have 15 minutes to tell us about the project. And then after that, if we have any questions, we'll ask you questions and then we'll go from there. So anything else that you feel is pertinent to your application and to why you want the parking and how it's going to be used, that kind of thing.
Well, I was born and raised in Rochester, right here in the Beechwood, area. And my mission has always been, along with my husband, to make sure we find a place that we can make not only Rochester and the community our home, but also to make it a better place in the community. I've been a pillar in the community for over 20 years. So I've been serving since families here and parking has always been a big issue, but we have tried our best to make it work. We have scattered different times for pickup and drop off to help, with that problem. But when we got the opportunity to be able to own the parking lot along with the playground, that was unexpected blessing that we would like to pursue. But without your help and granting us the permit, we can't get this parking lot to bring it back to what it needs to look like to service as a parking lot. Right now, it's just empty space with gravel that looked like it was used for a parking lot, but I don't think it was legally a parking lot.
Okay, anything else?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'll answer questions as I go along.
All right, that sounds fair. At this time, we'll ask that the commissioners, do you have any questions of the applicant?
I did. This is Carrie Carroll.
Yes, Carrie.
Question Carol, I guess. When we drove by, or when I drove by, they seem to have chains across the entrance. Do you guys have any concerns about folks parking there at night, or it becoming a congregation? Because obviously daycare, I'm guessing you probably won't have folks there late in the evening or at night. Do you have any plans for making sure that it doesn't become?
Yes, we're gonna, well, before I became the new owner, the community and the neighbors and whoever wanted to park there was parking there. And so we were using the playground. So, we cross the street and have to go through the parking lot to get to the playground. And I noticed, someone there, and I just let them know that, this is private property. You can't change your tire there, And when they went to have a conversation with me, it didn't seem like a good time to finish the conversation because I had students with me. So I just shared with them that I'll meet them later at 5:30. And when I came back at 5:30, I came back with the deed and everything, so I could show them and introduce myself to them and let them know, what the plans are. And they called the police on me. They called the police and said I was harassing them because I told them they couldn't park there anymore. So, and they said I was being racist. And the police officer came over and I heard her having this conversation. And after she got done, I told the officer, I said, sir, I am the new owner of the property. Here's the permit. Here's the deed. And I showed him the deed. And I don't know why she think I'm being racist. I was trying to be kind, introduce myself to her. And, it wasn't a good time because I could tell by her body communication, when somebody give you a certain look, and I had children with me, so I didn't want to have no, negative responses. You guys set an example all the time. And I came back to introduce myself to her. And she didn't like that idea. And even after the officer shared with her that I was the person that owned the property and she couldn't be parking there or changing her tire anymore, she pouted. That's my good way of saying pouting. And after I seen that she finished with her pouting, I went and introduced myself to her and I shared with her that not only do I plan on turning this into a parking lot, it's going to be a private parking lot and it's going to be filled for the staff and filled for the teachers. So we do plan on having it locked off in the evening time because I don't want to have to always come and share with someone besides seeing the signs up there. And I introduce myself to everyone in the neighborhood. So the neighbors next door know who I am. The Rain community across the street knows who I am. So, I don't want to every time always have to go and have to share with someone this is private property. So we plan on we use the cable for now. We had a cable installed, but we will have something put up there. So in the evening time, when the last staff person leave, it will be locked.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Seeing none, thank you, ma'am.
That's it?
That's it, but no more questions.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Anna, do we have any testimony for this case?
No, there was one that was included with the staff report, but outside of that, there hasn't been any additional one.
Okay, well, that being said, we will close this case. Thank you, ma'am. And we will have the next case, please.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Case number 4 is a special permit. The file number is E15-2021. The address is 3D5 East Ridge Road. The zoning is C2 Community Center District. The applicant is Scott, I'm sorry, Scott, I'm about to butcher your name, Garceau, Catholic Family Center. The request is to establish a residential care facility, Catholic Family Center, at the proposed newly constructed building on the parcel, an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. If you have your video on, show me by a hand or a thumb if you visited the site. If you don't have your video on, tell me whether or not you visited the site.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I have here on record that all present commissioners have visited the site. So I will give the floor to you and the applicant, Dave.
Okay, and is that, that's not Peter?
We got a big crew, so maybe
Okay.
we have them say who they are.
Okay, and what I'll do is I will read the affidavit, and then all those who will be testifying respond with your name and how you respond to the affidavit. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Scott Garceau, yes.
Thank you, Scott.
Leslie Kozlowski, yes.
Thank you.
Lisa Lewis, yes.
Thank you, Lisa.
This is Mark Pandolf, Plan Studio, yes.
Thank you, Mark.
This is Cortland Knopf, Plan Studio, yes.
Thank you, Cortland. And you may proceed, gentlemen and lady.
All right, let me start off. All right, so as you know, we currently have a men's facility at this location with 8 bedrooms. We're looking to take down this building and build a brand new facility for 16 bedrooms for women and kids. Kids up to 4 years old would be there in this facility. The facility would be a residential care facility and will be staffed 24/7. This current building that we're in now, this parcel of land, has always been a resident care facility, probably for 20 to 25 years that we know of. So it's been in the neighborhood. We also have done a parking and demand analysis, which was approved by the manager of the zoning board. Currently, this new program that's going to go in there for women with kids is currently located in Park Avenue, where we lease the building. The new facility will help us make this program more viable and give great outcomes to our clients and to the community. That's about all I have. I think we're good on our side, to be honest with you.
Okay, anything else you'd like to share?
I don't think so. I think we're open for questions.
Okay, that being said, commissioners, any questions for the applicant? Any questions? I guess I have a couple. One, you were saying that you would be removing the current facility and constructing a new one. I didn't see in our staff report what kind of time frame you would be looking at in order to do that.
Our hope is to start somewhere around April and be done in around 12 months.
Okay.
So April this year to April next year.
Yep, so basically demolishing by the end of April or whatever, and reconstructing and reoccupy April of 2022.
Correct. That would be that's our goal.
All right. And again, with the increase in numbers of beds, is that based on current need or projected need?
It's based on current need out in the community for our type of program that we have, Women with Kids.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for the applicant?
Just so you guys are aware, I just want to make a comment that there is no facility like this in New York State for women with children. That's why this was seen as a need right at the Family Center to build. I was manager of intensive residential with women with kids, and they were graduating to supportive living, and they were failing with their children because that's the only level they can go to. So that's why I'm excited about this project. We just wanted to let you know that there isn't a project like this, a community residence for women with children.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. If there are no other comments or questions for the applicant, Anna, do we have any testimony that needs to be read in?
Nope.
All right, no testimony. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will close this case and we'll have the next case, please.
Before we do that, I just want to say briefly, there was another person for case number 4 named Peter. He put something in the chat that his computer does not have audio. To
Okay.
Peter, unfortunately, we cannot communicate via chat on these hearings. So I just want to go on the record and make note of that.
Okay, so we don't have his comments?
No, I think it was an individual who was part of the presentation team.
Oh, okay.
Saying that, yeah, that he couldn't, he didn't have audio on his computer.
Oh, okay. All right, so the case is closed and we'll have the next case, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 5 is a special permit. The file number is E16-2021. The address is 160 North Haven Terrace. The zoning is R1 Low Density Residential District. The applicant is William Ramos Jr., New York Adult and Teen Challenge. The request is to establish a residential care facility, New York Adult and Teen Challenge, and to consider a parking demand analysis. Actions requiring City Planning Commission approval. So would you guys be able to attest for me whether or not you visited the site? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Yes.
Thumbs up. Thank you. All right. I will go on record saying all present commissioners have visited this site. So, Mr. Watson, you can swear in the applicant. I think you're on mute, Dave.
Thank you. Mr. Ramos, I will swear you in. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you are about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, and just give us your name and a mailing address, and you may start.
Oh, we also have 2 others with him as well, Dave.
Oh, okay, and I'll swear them in also. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your name?
Zena Lago Negro.
I think I know you. And who's next?
Chris, do you want to mute yourself?
I do.
Okay, that's Chris Harrison.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Zena Lago Negro. I'm with Passero Associates, and I am here representing New York Adult and Teen Challenge. With me is Pastor Willie Ramos, who's actually in Long Island this evening, and our local representative, Chris Harrison. And I'd like to kick off the meeting, and I'm going to turn it over to Pastor Willie and then to Chris, and then I'll finish up with some of the requirements for the standards of the special use permit. So we are here this evening to request a special use permit for a residential care facility for up to 5 persons at a property located at 160 North Haven Terrace in an R1 low density residential district. The property was actually constructed as a maternity hospital in the early 1900s. It was part of the Rochester General Hospital campus, and it was sold off and used over the years as an adoption center, a home for unwed mothers, a group home, and most recently Hillside Children's Center as their juvenile justice residential program, which closed in 2020. So, Anna, I see you have the staff report up. Could you scroll down to the aerial map of the property for me? Thank you.
1 second.
That's not it.
That's in my desktop background. Apologies for that. Okay.
It's good to see everyone, by the way. Thank you. So this aerial photo, I prefer aerial photos where north is up, but in this case, north is down. So you're looking, when you're looking up to the top of the page, it's actually in a southerly direction, but it gives you a really good idea of how the existing building is situated in the neighborhood. So everything to the north is in an R1 district. So Cynthia Lane, North Haven Terrace, that is a very stable single family residential area. To the left or to the east is a 3-story nursing home. And if you notice, they're built of the same brick color, which also matches a lot of the brick on the hospital campus. So most likely these buildings were all constructed at about the same time. Along the bottom of the photo, but still on the same property, you can see there's a parking lot, which serves approximately 30 vehicles. And then to the west, at the end of North Haven Terrace, you can see where the North Haven Terrace wording kind of stops. Right there, yes, thank you, Anna. That was actually abandoned for the benefit of the hospital several years ago. So that portion of North Haven Terrace is actually owned by Rochester General Hospital, although there is a gate at the end of North Haven that allows for pedestrians to access to and from the residential neighborhood, which is a very good thing for the neighborhood. So that gives you an idea of how the building is situated on the property. It's about 1 acre. There is a decorative fence and a guide rail along the north property line adjacent to Rochester General. And there's a stable, intact, solid 6-foot-high stockade fence along the south property line adjacent to the residential properties. The buildings, according to my research on the property, it appears that the 2-story portion, which is on the left, and the 1-story portion were actually separate buildings at one time. The maternity hospital was the 2-story portion, and then there were offices in the 1-story portion. There's a permit of record that shows the closure of a carport, so I can only assume they were in between the buildings. And that now is a vestibule that once you enter, you can either go through a steel door to the left to go to the 2-story, or also through a steel door to go to the right. So as I mentioned, the property has been used in the past for similar uses, but we've never really called them a residential care facility up until now. It was a group home and home for unwed mothers. So the zoning office asked kindly if we wouldn't mind going through the special permit process, so we have that on record. So in the 2-story portion of the building, this is where the men's facility will be located. Currently, let's see, we'd like to increase the number of residents in the men's portion from 13 to 17, utilizing all existing buildings. There's no proposal for a building expansion. There are offices in the building that are not necessary for the programming, and so we'd like to turn them into 2 bedrooms. And then also in the women's portion, according to the floor plan, and we can get to that in a few minutes, there are actually 8 bedrooms in the back portion of that building. Only 6 of them were considered usable under the certificate of occupancy. There's no clear permit or identification in the certificate of occupancy history that identifies why there was a limited number of bedrooms. Up to, it says 12 bedrooms on the C of O. And zoning usually counts the number of people. So it was hard to articulate, well, how many people does that mean that we can get in each bedroom? So I used the building code to determine that. You need a minimum of 80 square feet for the first person, and then an additional 50 square feet for each additional person above that. So in the men's portion, all of the rooms can accommodate up to 2, with the exception of one of the rooms that can accommodate up to 3 residents. And in the women's facility, each one of the bedrooms can only accommodate 1. So based on the floor plan, Anna, could you go to the floor plans for me?
Certainly.
Thank you. Hopefully they're in some sort of order. Let's see. So this is the This is the basement of the two-story portion. So the only modifications that we're making there are to remove 3 of the office so that we can make a larger recreation room. There are no bedrooms on the lower level. And then if we go down one more, please. This is the first floor of the two-story or the men's facility. This is where all the common spaces are. So the resident lounges and the cafe space and the kitchen. There are no bedrooms on this level. And then down one more, please. This is the second floor of the men's facility. And as you can see, the nurse's office and one other additional office on the lower part would be turned into staff bedrooms. And then one bedroom in the upper right-hand corner would replace an office. So the remaining bedrooms, all but room 202 can accommodate up to 2. 202 is large enough to accommodate 3. And then if we go down.
Oh, let me reorient that one for you.
Thanks. So in the women's facility, again, this is only a 1-story. Entry is through that common corridor. So straight across the top, those are all offices and bedrooms, staff bedrooms. And then towards the bottom where the green arrow is, that's where we have the 8 very similarly sized bedrooms. And again, on the C of O, according to the C of O, only 6 of them were allowed to be used as bedrooms. We're not quite sure why, but they are there and they are available to us. And so we are asking for an increase in the number of beds for the women's facility as well. So with that, I will turn it over to Pastor Willie so he can tell you a little bit more about the program, and Chris Harrison, he can explain to you what his participation will be with this facility moving forward.
Thank you, Zena. Thank you, Commissioner, for having me here today. We're excited about what is going to happen there in Rochester. Let me just tell you a little bit about New York Adult and Teen Challenge. I'm the president and CEO of New York Adult and Teen Challenge, and we have a center in Buffalo. We have a center in Syracuse. We have a center in, we have 2 centers in Albany and 2 centers in Long Island. And when this opportunity came up, we were very, very gracious because we were there in Rochester for 40 years. And we did some restructuring, and now we're hoping to open up again with this facility here. New York Adult and Teen Challenge works with men and women ages 17 and up through their journey to sobriety. Men and women that come to New York Adult and Teen Challenge not only receive a holistic approach to recovery from life-controlling problems, but they also acquire a new value system that honors family, takes responsibility for their community, cultivates a positive productive and healthy members to society. And our program provides age-appropriate opportunity to pursue education and mentoring. And we do that by helping these men and women getting their lives together through counseling. Our mission is for our residents is for them to become mentally sound, emotionally balanced, socially adjusted, physically well, and spiritually alive. And we are just excited about this opportunity here to be a great part of Rochester. You know, I was just looking just recently, and I just got a text that Monroe County reported 58 opioid overdoses, and 12 of them were fatal in January of 2021. And that's the reason why we want to be part of the solution there in Rochester. We know that with this great program here, residential program, we're going to be able to help men and women get back on their feet right from the Rochester area. We've done it in multiple cities like in Buffalo, Albany, and Syracuse, and Long Island, where I'm at right here, right now. It's an incredible opportunity to see not only people be redeemed, but have a resume, because they also leave our center with some type of resume. And so we're just a very we're just excited and are hoping to get permission for to open up this 9 to 12 month residential discipleship program that helps people with life controlling problems. It has a 75% cure rate after 5 years. So I know that it's an incredible program. Not only that, we have centers in, there's 220 centers in the United States, and there's over 1,200 centers in 129 countries, including Dominican Republic. I just came from Dominican Republic, laying a foundation for a women's home there to help the women in Dominican Republic in Santiago. Our slogan is hope lives here, freedom is found here, and change lives leave here. And I have with me also Chris Harrison, who's going to be one of our directors there. He's a resident of Rochester, and he's got an incredible testimony. The reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I myself, 25 years ago, found myself lost, and now was left for dead, gunned down, left for dead, and then I went to Teen Challenge and changed my life forever. And I just want to pay back, and that's why I'm here. I just want to let people know that Teen Challenge, through the Ministry of Teen Challenge, is able to help. We're able to help a lot of people because I myself was helped through Teen Challenge, and so was Chris Harrison. And so that's why we're teaming up and very passionate about the opportunity to open up Rochester Teen Challenge. Chris?
2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining.
All right, 2 minutes. So I'm Chris Harrison, and this is something that has me really excited right now because I've been working closely with Pastor Willie and New York Adult and Teen Challenge to see these doors open back up here in Rochester for about 3 years now. I went to Teen Challenge in 1997 as a 20-year-old kid, and I was completely lost with no hope. And what I got while at Teen Challenge, I was given hope, and I held on to that hope. And I believe that God, if I gave my life to him, he would use it for something good. And never in my wildest dreams would I ever imagine sitting here today in the forefront with everyone that's a part of even this panel, ready to open this ministry back up to an area that desperately needs it. I was asked to share about Teen Challenge a couple years ago in response to the opioid epidemic at a convention in Rochester that was led by Churches United Combating Addiction. And so that developed as a result of the opioid epidemic, even in Rochester. And as I shared, there began an undercurrent of people that just would come up to me asking, when are we opening this back up in Rochester? We're missing those beds that were there. And so that just continued to just fan that fire inside of me to see this opened up. And when we came across this property, because we've been looking, I believe it was early fall, it just seemed to fit the bill, and we were excited, and we were like, this is the one. This could be used to help so many people in a good way. And when we get into the facility, anywhere our centers are, it really brings a light to the area, and we bless the neighborhood. We shovel their driveways. We have children outreaches throughout the summertime. And so we want to be a blessing to everyone in the area.
That's our time. Thank you. Don't mind wrapping it up.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Can I just say one more thing? Hope has an address, and it's 160 North Haven Terrace.
Good. Thank you so much. At this time, we'll ask commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant at this time? Any questions for the applicant? Yes, Carrie.
Sorry,
that's okay.
Zoom every time. How do I help you? I click and it unmutes and then I mute and, anyway. One of the questions that came up from someone who wrote in was the fact that many folks cut across the parking lot to use the 2 gates behind RGH to walk to their work. And it's I looked, it's clearly very well used. Is that something that the applicant would be willing to continue, assuming the permit is granted?
Absolutely, and I'll have coffee ready for them when they come by.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, seeing none, gentlemen, ladies, thank you so much. And we'll close it. Oh, Anna, do we have any comments for this case?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. We do actually. So there were 2 comments that were included in with the staff report, and then there were 2 that were received after its publication. So I will pull those up now and read those for you all. Okay. So this is from Heidi Hartman. I got the notification from the city about the hearing scheduled for your proposed plan for 160 North Haven Terrace, and then your note of introduction. Thanks for that. Personally, I think it'll be a good usage of the facility. It's funny that an internet search describes it as a single-family home with large shower rooms. Weird. But since I've been in the neighborhood, it seems unutilized to me. It was part of Hill Haven Children's Center, a place for teens to await trial, but I haven't seen much activity there in a while, guessing why it might be open to you. I really just have 2 questions. How many beds do you think will fill at any given time, maximum? And are you intending to start with just an adult program, teenage one, or both? The mix could make the difference in this neighborhood. Each group has essentially different needs. It would help the residents of this neighborhood if they knew what to expect. And then our last is from Reverend Patrick Medeiros. I am writing today to share excitement and full support of Adult and Teen Challenge, opening men's and women's home in Rochester, New York. We have just made a $50,000 donation toward the Rochester home and will continue to financially invest in this successful program. This is going to be a great help to Rochester. And that concludes the public testimony for this case.
That being said, Mr. Willie, Mr. Ramos, if you have any final comments you'd like to share?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. And I know that we're going to be a light to that neighborhood, a light to the community, and a light to Rochester.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Zena. Good seeing you.
There was a question about how many bedrooms and whether there would be phasing of children to adults or adults to children. Do you want to answer those or?
Yes, sir. Our residential program is 17 and up. So anybody from 17 and up, we are going to be working with. It can be 17 to 65. Those are the demographic of people that we work with in regards to age. What was the other question?
Maximum occupancy, I think.
Well, the maximum occupancy would be the permission that the commission would give us.
So we're looking at 17 men and potentially 8 women. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. 25 altogether.
Okay. All set, Tom? Anything else? Tom, you need to unmute yourself.
No, that was it. I just wanted to make sure that letter writer had their answers.
All right, thank you. All right, again, thank you so much. This case is closed, and this hearing is closed. And so I'll ask the commission, let's take a 10-minute break to get some refreshments, take care of business, and we'll get back here. I have 7:35, so we'll do 7:40. No, I'm sorry, no, 7:45. I'm sorry.
Good to see you, Sina.
Can we stick around for the deliberations?
Oh, you sure can.
Sure.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep,
See you.
so we'll see you then.
All right. Thank